If you can't stay focused, you will lose momentum on your dreams. In today's world, your attention is constantly under attack. Social media pings, endless emails, and multitasking demands are constantly pulling you away from what matters. As an entrepreneur, you're juggling a million things, and it's killing your ability to concentrate on the one thing that will move your business forward. Every distraction comes with a heavy price. A University of California Irvine study found it takes about 23 minutes to refocus your attention after an interruption. Think about that. A single text or notification can waste nearly half an hour of your productive time. Multiply those interruptions across your day, and it's no surprise if you end the day feeling exhausted with little to show for it. Even worse, constant task switching can slash your productivity by up to 40%, meaning you're literally working twice as long to get the same work done. If you don't fix your focus, you risk losing deals, delaying your goals, and watching your competitors blow past you. And if you make it to the end of this video, put a hashtag believe in the comments below, and we might feature you here in a future video. Believe. The power of focus, lessons from great entrepreneurs. Let's look at how focus, or lack of it, played out for some of the best in the business. Steve Jobs famously saved Apple by ruthlessly narrowing the company's focus. When he returned in 1997, Apple was spread thin, making all sorts of products. Jobs cut 70% of Apple's product line, axing anything that wasn't essential. He streamlined everything down to just 4 products, 2 computers and 2 portable devices, so all the energy went into the products that would define Apple's future. That intense focus brought Apple back from the brink of bankruptcy to profitability within a year and laid the groundwork for the iMac, the iPhone, and the world-changing company that Apple is today. Jobs put it best. People think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on, but that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. And he's not alone. When Bill Gates and Warren Buffett were asked separately to share the single biggest key to their success, both men gave the exact same one-word answer: focus. These billionaires, known for their vastly different styles and industries, agree that relentless focus, pushing aside distractions and concentrating on your mission, is what made them who they are. It's a simple but powerful lesson. Focus is a superpower in business. If Steve Jobs could rescue a failing company by focusing on less, and Gates and Buffett attribute decades of success to focus, imagine what you could accomplish if you truly harnessed your attention. But Evan, I can't just focus on one thing. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great, but my reality is different. Let's address some of the hedges and objections that might be popping up for you. Let's start with, I have too many responsibilities. I can't just do one thing at a time. Now, as an entrepreneur, yes, you wear many hats, but that doesn't mean multitasking at every second. In fact, trying to do everything at once guarantees you do nothing well. Give each task its dedicated time slot. We'll talk about how to do that later. You'll get more done and do it better. Remember, saying no or not now to less critical tasks is how you finally say yes to your real priorities, just like Jobs did by cutting projects. Here's another one. I need to be on social media or email 24/7 for my business. Do you though? If you're constantly reacting to DMs and comments, you're letting other people's agendas dictate your day. The truth is, most things can wait a couple hours. Your customers or team won't all vanish if you don't respond in 5 minutes. Setting boundaries on your digital communications isn't neglect, it's smart management. I'll discuss some strategies soon, like how to do scheduled check-in times so you stay present online without letting it destroy your focus. Here's another one. I'm just naturally bad at focusing. My mind wanders. The ability to focus isn't a born trait, it's a skill that you train. Every entrepreneur can build stronger focus muscles. Yes, some people have ADHD or creative brains that leap around, but even those minds can learn structure. In fact, they thrive with the right systems. So don't label yourself as unfocused and just leave it at that. You can improve your attention span just like you can strengthen a weak bicep with training. Next, hustle culture says sleep is optional. I'll sleep when I'm rich. This is a dangerous myth. Burning the midnight oil night after night feels productive, but science shows lack of sleep wrecks your focus and decision making. Staying awake for 17 hours straight impairs you as much as having a blood alcohol level of 0.05%, effectively making you legally drunk in terms of your alertness. Do you really think you'll build a great business in that state? We'll get into why sleep is a non-negotiable for peak focus and how even Elon Musk manages to get about 6 hours a night while running multiple companies. Next, people say, if I focus on one thing, I'll miss other opportunities. This is the classic shiny object syndrome that plagues so many entrepreneurs. Yes, new opportunities are tempting. Entrepreneurs are idea machines by nature, but chasing every shiny idea that comes along is a recipe for mediocrity. As one analysis found, 65% of failed startup founders said they lost focus by pursuing too many opportunities. Focus doesn't mean you never pivot or ignore market changes. It means you choose your shots wisely and don't split your energy 10 ways at once. Remember, opportunities are endless, but time and attention are finite. The most successful entrepreneurs commit to a direction long enough to see real results rather than constantly switching course. All right, now that we've tackled some of those objections, you should be on board that improving your focus is both possible and essential. So how do you do it? Let's dive into some of the practical, actionable strategies to reclaim your attention and keep it laser focused on your goals. I'm going to touch on a bunch of areas from managing your digital distractions and your brain's dopamine to sharpening your purpose, taking care of your health, and building systems that make focus your default mode. So get ready for a blend of science-backed insights and real-world tactics you can start using today. Number 1, digital distractions. Take control of your attention. In our digital age, distraction is the default. If you do nothing, your phone and computer will happily eat your entire day. So you have to actively take back control. Here's why and how. So here's the problem. Your smartphone is basically a slot machine in your pocket, dinging and buzzing to grab your attention. The average person now spends over 4.5 hours on their phone each day, picking it up 58 times a day on average. And over half of those phone checks happen during work hours. Each check might only be a minute or two, but it breaks your focus. And remember, it takes 23 minutes to refocus after even a quick distraction. No wonder you get to the end of the day wondering, where did the time go? When it was sliced and diced by dozens of pings and scrolls. Multitasking on digital devices, which is bouncing between email and social apps and work, also jacks up your stress level and overloads your brain. Roughly 40% of adults admit to constantly multitasking with their digital devices, which correlates with higher stress and lower productivity. Our brains just aren't wired to context switch this much without paying a price. And it's not just about time wasted. Digital distractions actually rewire your brain to be less capable of deep focus. Each notification gives that little hit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical, teaching your brain to crave novelty and instant gratification over sustained effort. Stanford addiction expert Dr. Anna Lemke describes the smartphone as the modern-day hypodermic needle, delivering digital dopamine for a wired generation. Think about that. Your phone is literally giving your brain tiny dopamine shots like a drug. It feels pleasurable in the moment, but it leaves you addicted to quick hits of entertainment or social validation. Over time, you get conditioned to seek constant stimulation, and boring, important tasks like writing your business plan or analyzing your customer feedback can't compete with the flashy rewards on your screen. As a result, your attention span shortens and doing deep work becomes harder. But you don't have to accept this. You are the boss of your phone, not the other way around. It's time to put the gadgets in their place. Here's how you can do it. Number 1, turn off non-essential notifications. Do you really need your phone blaring every time someone likes an Instagram picture or you get a random email that hits your inbox? Probably not. Go into your settings and disable notifications for everything that isn't truly urgent, which is most things. You can keep phone calls or maybe critical texts on and silence the rest. This way you decide when to check instead of being pulled at every whim. Next, use do not disturb and focus modes. Schedule do not disturb mode during your high focus work blocks. Many entrepreneurs swear by working in the early morning for a reason. Fewer distractions. If morning isn't your jam, at least carve out a couple of hour-long blocks in your day where you close email, put your phone on DND, and focus single-mindedly on one task. Think of it like going into airplane mode, but for your brain. Next, try website blockers or productivity apps. If willpower isn't enough to keep you from wandering to distracting sites, use a tool to help. Apps like Freedom or Cold Turkey or even built-in screen time controls can block social media, news, and other time sync websites during work hours. This removes the temptation so you don't have to constantly wrestle with it. It's way easier to avoid eating junk food if you don't keep chips in a house. Same idea with digital junk. Next, batch your email and social checks. Instead of reacting in real time all day, set specific times for communication. So for example, commit to checking email only at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. and social media maybe once in the afternoon. Outside those windows, close those tabs. You can even mention in your email signature or auto reply that you only respond at set times so people know what to expect. This might feel uncomfortable at first, but you'll quickly realize that most things can wait a few hours. Batching will instantly free up mental space and time. Next, environment design. Remove the easy buttons for distraction. That might mean keeping your phone in another room when you need to concentrate, or logging out of Facebook on your computer so it's not just one click away. If you constantly grab your phone out of habit, try leaving it in your bag, a drawer, or somewhere you can't mindlessly reach. Out of sight, out of mind works. The goal is not zero technology. It's making sure you decide when to use it for your benefit rather than letting it control you. By reducing these digital distractions, you'll instantly notice you can work longer on a task with more concentration and actually enter that flow state where real progress happens. Remember, every time you protect your focus, you're saving literally hours of lost time and keeping your stress down. Take back control one notification at a time. Number 2, find clarity of purpose, your focus North Star. Ever notice how it's easier to focus on something when you really care about it? Like you can play a complex video game for 4 hours straight or spend an entire day thinking on a passion project without losing concentration. But when a task feels pointless or you're not sure why it matters, your mind starts to jump to anything else. This is why lack of clarity and purpose is a silent focus killer. If you don't have a clear target you're aiming for, your brain will drift aimlessly. So here's the science of purpose. Studies show that people with a clear sense of purpose are far more productive and less prone to distraction. When you know why you're doing something, it's easier to resist the unrelated temptations. You can quickly dismiss the trivial stuff because your mind says, I have more important fish to fry. On the flip side, if your goals are fuzzy, everything can seem equally urgent or interesting. You'll hop between tasks or fall into procrastination because there's no guiding priority. In short, clarity sharpens focus like a lens concentrating sunlight. For entrepreneurs, clarity of purpose operates on 2 key levels. Big picture purpose, that's your company's mission or your personal why, and then day-to-day clarity. These are your specific goals and priorities for the week or for your day. You need both. Here's how to cultivate them. Start with defining your why and your vision. Take the time to articulate why your business exists beyond just making money. What change do you want to see in your customers or the world? What drives you to do this? It might be to provide financial freedom for your family, or to disrupt an industry that you are passionate about, or to help a certain group of people succeed. There's no right answer except one that genuinely fires you up. Write it down and keep it where you can see it. When you have a strong purpose, it becomes easier to focus because you have an emotional anchor. You're not just slogging through tasks, you're building towards a vision that matters to you. Next, set clear goals, yearly, monthly, weekly, daily. Clarity of purpose isn't just about a lofty vision, it translates into concrete goals. Break your big vision into specific, measurable goals. For example, this year, I want to achieve $500,000 in sales, or launch version 2.0 of our app by Q4. Then break that into monthly targets and weekly tasks. Each day when you start work, identify the top 1 to 3 things that are most important to accomplish that day. This is often called MITS, most important task. If you define what winning the day looks like, you're less likely to get pulled off track by random stuff. It's like having a map. Without it, you wander everywhere. With it, you can plot a direct course. Next, use your purpose as a filter. When new opportunities or new ideas come, and they will come, especially for entrepreneurs, run them through your purpose and goals. Ask yourself, does this move me closer to my main goal or distract me from it? Be brutally honest. If an opportunity doesn't align with your core mission or would pull focus from what is currently mission critical for you, consider saying no or not now. As Jobs said, focus is about saying no to good ideas that aren't great for you right now. Having a clear purpose makes those decisions easier because you can more clearly see which path aligns and which is a detour. Next, remind yourself daily. In the chaos of entrepreneurship, it's easy to forget your mission amongst all the fires that you're putting out. So build in reminders, read your vision statement each morning, visualize a successful outcome that you're working towards. Some entrepreneurs stick a post-it note on their computer with their number one goal, or use it as their phone wallpaper. These cues keep your why in sight. When you're more connected to why you're working, it's much easier to stay engaged with the work. Clarity of purpose is your North Star. It keeps you oriented when all these shiny objects and distractions try to lead you astray. When you care deeply about what you're doing and why you're doing it, you'll find it much easier to concentrate. Your brain sees the significance and thus is willing to stay on task longer. If you've been feeling unfocused, ask yourself if you're truly clear on your goals. The issue might not be that you're lazy or scatterbrained, but simply a lack of clear direction. Fix your aim and your mind will follow. Number 3, prioritize sleep and brain health. It's the foundation of focus. You can develop every productivity trick in the book, but if your brain is running on fumes, you're never going to achieve peak focus. Focus is a biological activity as much as a mental one. It's your brain's prefrontal cortex holding attention, your neurons firing in sync, and your brain simply cannot operate at its best when it's sleep deprived or it's stressed or physically unhealthy. Sleep is the ultimate performance enhancer and deprivation the ultimate killer. Far too many entrepreneurs treat sleep as a luxury or a necessary sacrifice. In reality, it's the bedrock of cognitive function. Skimping on sleep is like stealing time from your future self. You borrow a few extra hours today, but you pay back double in lost productivity and focus tomorrow. As mentioned, going 17 to 18 hours without sleep impairs you similar to a 0.05% blood alcohol level. Push that to 24 hours and it's more like 0.1%. You're legally drunk. More than 35% of Americans routinely get less than 7 hours sleep, which is the minimum recommended, which means a third of us are walking around in a chronically impaired state of mind. Lack of sleep crushes attention, working memory, and executive function, basically all the ingredients of focus. You ever notice how on a bad night's sleep, you can't remember details, you get irritable, and even small tasks feel overwhelming? That's the cost. So step number 1 is protect your sleep like your business depends on it, because it does. Here are some tips to improve your sleep and overall brain health. Start with setting a non-negotiable sleep schedule. Figure out how much sleep makes you feel truly refreshed. For most adults, it's 7 to 8 hours. Then count backwards from when you need to wake up and set a bedtime. Yes, a bedtime. Just like when you were a kid. Stick to it as much as possible, including weekends. Having a consistent sleep and wake time trains your body's internal clock so you fall asleep faster and get deeper rest. Treat this like an important meeting with yourself. After a while, you'll start to love that routine. Next, create a pre-sleep wind down. If you're working on your startup until midnight, then immediately trying to sleep, your brain is still in 5th gear. Have a 30 to 60 wind down routine. Dim the lights, put away the screens. The blue light from devices tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Maybe read something light or do some deep breathing. This sends a signal to your brain that it's safe to power down. Many successful founders swear by reading fiction at night or journaling to offload thoughts so they don't ruminate endlessly in bed. Next, exercise regularly for your mind, not just for your body. Physical exercise has massive benefits for brain health and focus. It increases blood flow to the brain and boosts the growth of new brain cells. Even a brisk 20-minute walk can improve your mood and attention. You don't need to be a triathlete, but build some movement into your week. It could be hitting the gym, doing yoga, or just daily walks. Think of it as brain maintenance. Plus, exercise improves sleep quality, so it's a double win for you. Next, mind your nutrition and hydration. A brain that's dehydrated or starved of key nutrients is a sluggish brain. Stay hydrated. Even mild dehydration can impair cognitive performance. And try to avoid the classic entrepreneur diet of coffee and junk food all day. You don't have to be perfect, but fueling yourself with protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs will give you more sustained energy. Omega-3s, found in fish, walnuts, etc., are great for brain health. Limit the ultra-sugary snacks that spike and crash your energy. Next, take short breaks to recharge, not to distract. Our brains aren't machines that can concentrate non-stop. In fact, taking a 5 to 10 minute break every hour or two can boost your overall focus. But the type of break matters. Scrolling on Twitter is not a real break. It bombards you with new information and dopamine hits. Instead, do something that truly rests your mind. Walk around, stretch, look out the window, drink some water, or close your eyes and breathe. Think of these as pit stops to refuel your mental energy. When you return, your focus will be better. As an entrepreneur, your brain is your number 1 asset. Treating it well isn't a nice to have. It's essential to performance at the level that you need. If you're regularly sacrificing sleep, skipping exercise, or stressing yourself to the brink, you are robbing yourself of focus and creativity. High performers in business increasingly treat themselves like elite athletes because they are, in the cognitive sense. So get serious about your sleep and health regimen. It's the unfair advantage that most people ignore. A well-rested, well-nourished brain can solve in 1 hour what an exhausted brain might struggle with for 3 hours. Take care of your brain and it will take care of your business. If you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description to go grab it. Let's start building real momentum in your life and business. I'll see you there. Number 4. Master your dopamine. Train your brain for deep focus. So I touched on dopamine earlier, but let's dive deeper because this little neurotransmitter plays an outsized role in why you can't stay focused. Dopamine is essentially the brain's reward chemical. It spikes when we encounter something that is new, exciting, or pleasurable. Whether that's scoring a big client, that's a huge dopamine hit, or seeing a notification that someone liked your post, that's a little dopamine hit. The modern world is full of artificial dopamine triggers, and while dopamine itself isn't bad, it's vital for motivation and learning. Too much of the quick hit dopamine can put your brain in a state of constant craving and distraction. Here's how it works. There are 2 types of dopamine release. Phasic, which is bursts in response to immediate rewards and novelty, and tonic, the steady background level that helps you feel satisfied. We want a nice balance. But what's happening now? We're overstimulated by phasic dopamine spikes all day long. Every ping, every new tweet, every funny video gives a tiny jolt. It feels good for a second, then it drops, and your brain says, hey, that was nice, let's get another hit. Over time, this over-reliance on constant stimulation undermines our ability to sustain deep focus. We become like addicts seeking the next reward rather than being able to settle into a task that doesn't have instant gratification. In fact, when your brain is trained on high-frequency dopamine hits, doing something slow and effortful like writing your business strategy, your coding, your book, making YouTube videos, studying market research, it feels boring. You might start doing it, but then your brain goes, this is hard. Let's check if we got any new emails. That would be way more fun. This is literally a neurochemical issue, not just a character flaw. As one neuroscience writer puts it, excessive novelty seeking weakens our cognitive endurance, training the brain to seek constant stimulation rather than deep focus. It's like we've shortened our attention muscle by always handing it quick fixes instead of encouraging it to stretch. So how do we fix this? We have to detox and retrain our dopamine system so that we can enjoy and stick with more meaningful, long-term rewards. Some strategies to consider. Start with cutting back on the quick hits. This ties back to digital distractions, reducing social media, unnecessary notifications, mindless web browsing, and so on. The fewer bling dopamine triggers you get in the day, the more your brain can settle. Some people find it helpful to do an actual dopamine detox day or weekend. No social media, no internet rabbit holes, maybe no phone at all, and engage in offline, low stimulation activities like reading, going out in nature, journaling. This can reset your baseline a bit. It's like recalibrating your taste buds by eating simple food so that fruits taste sweet again. Similarly, when you return, you'll find a bit more tolerance for slow, focused work because your brain isn't saturated with cheap thrills. Next, schedule your dopamine. Completely eliminating all fun and novelty isn't sustainable or desirable. Instead, schedule controlled breaks for enjoyable activities. Maybe you work for 90 minutes, then give yourself 15 minutes to watch a few funny YouTube videos or check your favorite social app. But set a timer. This way you still get some reward, but it's deliberate. Over time, try to choose lower stimulation rewards like going for a walk outside. You get dopamine from nature and movement, chatting with a friend, or a quick game that isn't too time-consuming. The key is to avoid the infinite scroll or endless autoplay that hijacks your brain beyond the planned time. Next, use dopamine to your advantage for focus. You can actually hack this chemical for good. For example, break your work into smaller milestones and celebrate each win. Our brains love a sense of progress. So if you have to write a 20-page report, set a goal like finish 2 pages and then acknowledge the achievement. Even give yourself a small reward, like a piece of chocolate. Stand up, do a victory stretch, etc. It sounds silly, but these little rewards release dopamine that reinforces the focused work that you just did. Gamify your important but maybe tedious tasks. Give yourself points or check marks for each little chunk that you complete. This injects a bit of immediate satisfaction into long-term projects. Next, engage in activities that increase baseline dopamine naturally. Exercise is one. It releases dopamine and serotonin. Meditation is another. It can raise your baseline focus and contentment levels over time. Also, make sure that you're not deficient in things like sleep, again, or certain nutrients, as those can really affect your dopamine regulation. There are also supplements and foods like tyrosine found in almonds and avocado that support dopamine, but be cautious and perhaps speak with a doctor before trying supplements. The goal is a healthy, balanced brain chemistry. Next, embrace boredom gradually. This one's tough, but try to build your tolerance for doing nothing. When you have a minute of downtime, like you're waiting in line, resist pulling out the phone. Let yourself be bored for a bit. Boredom is the precursor to creativity and focus. It means your brain is not being overstimulated. At first, it might feel restless, but you're teaching your mind that it doesn't need constant entertainment. This translates to better focus when you choose to work on something because your brain isn't always expecting a dopamine snack every other minute. Managing dopamine is about self-discipline and self-awareness. It's noticing the urge to seek a quick distraction and choosing to delay or deny it in service of a bigger goal. It's not easy. You're literally fighting millions of years of evolutionary wiring that says, seek new rewards, but you can gradually shift the balance. Many entrepreneurs find that after a period of cutting back stimulation, they not only focus better, but they also regain the ability to feel joy from simpler things and deeper work. That report or coding session starts to feel oddly satisfying because you're fully engaged and not somewhere else mentally. That's a great sign that your dopamine is working for you, not against you. Number 5, use tools and systems to make focus easier. Willpower is great, but why rely on willpower alone when you can build systems that naturally promote focus? Think of this as engineering your work and life setup so that staying focused is the path of least resistance. Successful entrepreneurs are often obsessive about their time management systems, not because it's fun to be rigid, but because it frees them to concentrate on what matters. Here are some proven tools and systems for turbocharging your focus. Start with time blocking your schedule. This is a technique that I love where you divide your day into blocks of time and assign tasks or themes to each block. For example, 9 to 11 a.m. for writing, 11 to 11:30 email, 1 to 3 p.m. meeting, 3 to 4:30 project work, etc. Even Elon Musk has been reported to schedule his day in 5-minute blocks when running multiple companies. The idea isn't to fill every minute, but to plan your focus. When you time block, you sit down at 9 a.m. already knowing what to work on. No floundering or deciding. This clarity prevents a lot of distraction because you've given yourself a clear directive. During that block, only that task exists. If other thoughts or to-dos pop up, you note them for later in that appropriate block and return to the task at hand. It's like creating appointments with your most important work. Start by blocking out just a few hours a day for your top priorities and see how it massively improves your focus. Next, the Pomodoro technique. This is a popular method where you use a timer to work in short bursts, traditionally 25-minute work, 5-minute break, and then repeat. Each 25-minute session is called a Pomodoro. After 4 Pomodoros, you take a longer break. This works because it gamifies your focus. You know you only have to concentrate for a defined period, which makes it easier to start, and the ticking timer creates a sense of urgency. If 25 minutes feels too short or long, you can adjust the time. Many people use 50-minute focus, 10-minute breaks, etc. The key is the cycle of focus and rest. It trains you to get in the zone quickly and also gives your brain regular breathers. There are tons of apps and kitchen timers that can help you with this. Over time, you may find you don't need to rigidly time yourself, but it's a great training wheel for building focus stamina. Next, habit stacking and routines. If you struggle to stick to focusing, try habit stacking. This means attaching a new habit, like a morning focus routine, onto an existing habit. For example, every day, right after you have your coffee, you might immediately spend 30 minutes planning your priorities. Or right after lunch, you do a 10-minute mindfulness or breathing exercise to reset, then dive into the hardest task of the afternoon. By linking focus habits to things you already do, they'll stick more easily. Also, create rituals that signal work mode to your brain. Maybe always play a certain instrumental music playlist when you need to concentrate. Eventually, just hearing that music puts you into focus mode. Or have a specific location for deep work, like a certain chair or going to the library or a cafe. These cues help you slip into focus mode faster. Next, task management and offloading mind clutter. Often it's hard to focus because your brain is juggling all the other things you need to do or remember. Implement a reliable task management system. It could be an app like Trello, Asana, Todoist, or just a simple good old notebook or whiteboard. The key is to have one place where all your to-dos, ideas, and reminders live. When you think of something unrelated while working, don't keep it in your head. Dump it into your task list or a sticky note. Your brain then relaxes knowing that it won't forget it and you can get back to the current task at hand. Review and organize your task list daily or weekly so you always know what's on your plate. This way, you won't constantly worry, did I forget something? While you're trying to focus. Next, the 2-minute rule and single handling. Productivity guru David Allen of GDT fame suggests if something will take less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. This prevents tiny tasks from accumulating and nagging at you. Conversely, for bigger tasks, practice single handling. Once you start it, try to see it through or to a logical checkpoint before touching something else. Switching tasks midway forces you to refamiliarize yourself later, doubling the effort. For example, if you need to reply to 5 important emails, do them all in one block rather than scattering them out throughout the day. Group similar tasks, phone calls, emails, coding, writing, so your brain stays in one mode longer. This reduces the cognitive switching cost. Next, leverage calendars and time tracking. Use your calendar not just for meetings, but for your own work. Block those focus times as if they were meetings. You can even mark them busy so others can't snag the time. If you have a team, communicate your planned focus hours so they know when not to disturb you. Some teams use a simple green or red flag status to indicate deep work versus available. Additionally, consider tracking your time for a week or two just to see where your time actually goes. You might be shocked by how much goes to low-value activities. Tracking makes you more aware and helps you adjust. The goal is to align your time spent with your true priorities. Focus follows priorities. Building these systems might sound like a lot of work, but think of it as setting up your environment for success. Athletes have coaches, meal plans, training schedules, all systems so they can perform on game day. For you, game day is every day in your business, so give yourself the support of a system. These tools actually reduce decision fatigue and mental load. Instead of constantly thinking, what should I do next? Or maybe I should be doing X. You trust your system. You look at your time block calendar or your task list and you just follow it. Ironically, structure creates freedom. The freedom to fully focus on the task at hand because you know everything else is handled or has its place. Experiment and find the mix of tools that works for you. The right system is the one you'll actually use consistently. Number 6, overcoming overwhelm. Prioritize and simplify. One big reason you can't stay focused is that sinking feeling of overwhelm. As an entrepreneur, you likely have a never-ending to-do list. When you sit down to work, 20 different tasks and problems swarm your mind. It's paralyzing. You don't know where to start, so you end up doing nothing productive, except maybe shuffling a few papers or checking some news. Overwhelm is the enemy of focus because it triggers stress. And when you're stressed, your brain's ability to concentrate plummets. In fact, a recent study of small business owners found 75% are concerned about their mental health and more than half have been clinically diagnosed with anxiety or depression related to stress. That's a lot of overwhelmed entrepreneurs. If you feel this way, you're definitely not alone, but you must tackle it head on, both for your business and for your well-being. Here's how to reduce overwhelm and regain control. Start with a brain dump and prioritize. So start each day or end the previous day by doing a brain dump of everything on your mind that you need to do. Get it out of your head and onto paper or a digital list. Already this relieves your mental pressure. Then prioritize ruthlessly. Not all tasks are equal. Use a method like Eisenhower's matrix, which is urgent versus important, or simply mark each item A, B, C priority. Identify your top 2 to 3 tasks that will make the biggest impact. Those are your focus items. Often the act of prioritizing shows you that many tasks can be scheduled later, delegated, or even dropped. Focus is about doing first things first. When you know you're working on the most important thing at any given moment, the nagging worry about everything else quiets down. Next, break it down. Overwhelm often happens because we look at huge projects or goals and we feel lost. The trick is to break big tasks into bite-sized actions. Don't write launch new website on your list. That is a project with 50 steps. Instead, list the next actions. Call the designer to discuss the layout, draft the About Us page copy, etc. Small steps are doable and gives you a sense of progress which motivates you to continue. Celebrate crossing them off. Each tiny victory gives you momentum. Remember, yard by yard is hard, inch by inch is a cinch. Next, delegate and outsource. Ask yourself, do you personally need to do all of these tasks? Entrepreneurs often wear all the hats initially, but to grow and stay sane, you need to offload things. Can you delegate some tasks to a team member, a freelancer, or an assistant, even a virtual assistant, even just for a few hours a week? This could range from administrative work, social media posting, to personal errands. Freeing up even a couple hours a week of busy work can be huge for your focus on high-value activities. Plus, when you delegate, you psychologically commit to focusing on higher-level tasks since someone else is handling the other stuff for you. Now, if your budget is tight, consider trading tasks with a peer or using automation tools for repetitive tasks like email filters and macros and marketing automation. Next, learn to say no, or at least not now. Overwhelm often grows because we keep saying yes to new ideas, to other people's requests, to every networking opportunity, and so on. Value your focus and time enough to guard it. It's better to do a few things well than many things poorly. When you're asked to take on something that isn't aligned with your current priorities, it's okay to say no. Or if it's a genuinely good opportunity but bad timing, ask if you can revisit it in a few months. People will respect you for being focused. And if they don't, you probably shouldn't be working with them. Remember, every yes is implicitly a no to something else, like your existing commitments or personal time. Flip it and decide consciously what you will say no to so that your yeses are truly meaningful. Next, practice stress management. Even with perfect planning, entrepreneurship is stressful. How you manage that stress determines whether it derails your focus or fuels your growth. Find techniques that help you stay calm under fire. Now, this could be meditation, prayer, exercise, journaling, talking to a mentor, seeing a therapist, or even hobbies that take your mind off of work for a bit, like salsa dancing. When you feel your overwhelm rising, your heart's pounding, your mind is racing, step away and use one of these techniques to reset. A 10-minute walk outside or a short meditation can clear the fog of overwhelm and let you return with a clear head. Make stress relief a routine, not just an emergency feature. For example, a daily meditation practice can significantly lower your baseline anxiety over time, making you more resilient when things pile up. Next, keep the big picture in mind. Sometimes overwhelm tricks us into treating everything as a crisis. But zoom out. Will this thing you're freaking out about matter in 5 years, 5 months? Often the answer is no. Maintaining a long-term perspective can help you let go of perfectionism and minor details. Focus on high-impact, long-term results and be okay with deferring or even dismissing lesser things. Give yourself permission that you won't do everything, but you will do the most important things. Overwhelm is like a fog that can cloud even the sharpest minds. But by organizing your tasks, setting boundaries, and taking care of your mental state, you can cut through that fog. When you proactively manage overwhelm, you don't just become more focused, you become a happier, more creative, more productive entrepreneur. Your brain has a breathing room to think strategically and innovatively instead of drowning in details. Simplify, prioritize, and watch your productivity and focus soar. Number 7, the Entrepreneur's Focus Challenge: shiny objects and moving parts. Entrepreneurs face a special set of focus challenges. You're not working a repetitive jobs with a defined set of tasks. You're creating something new. So you're wearing the CEO, CFO, CMO, and all the intern hats all at once. Your to-do list regenerates like a hydra. Cut off one head and 2 more pop up. Plus, entrepreneurs are typically idea people, so your strength is creativity and vision. But the flip side is chasing too many ideas all at once. One of the biggest threats to entrepreneur focus is shiny object syndrome. This is when you get overly excited by the next new idea, the next new tool or opportunity, and abandon or dilute your current efforts. It feels like progress. We're also going to launch a podcast and target a new customer segment, and we're going to redesign the product from scratch. But often it's distraction in disguise. As I said earlier, a huge percentage of failed startups pointed to loss of focus as a contributor to their failure. Focus requires discipline, especially when you're your own boss. There's no manager telling you not to pursue idea number 37. You have to manage yourself. Here's how to handle the unique focus challenges of being an entrepreneur. Let's start with limiting your goals per quarter or year. It's fine to have many ideas, but you can't execute them all at once. Try setting just 1 to 3 key goals per quarter for your business. So for example, improve your website conversion rate by 20%, or launch your product in a new market X, or reach 50K in MRR. Make everything you do serve those limited goals. If a new idea or partnership opportunity comes up, see if it clearly advances one of those goals. If not, park it in an idea bank for later. Trust that you'll get to those ideas in time once you nail your current objectives. This approach is often called OKRs. It helps companies stay on track. Success is sequential, not simultaneous. Do first things first, then move on. Next, adopt a not now list. Create a list specifically for good ideas that you choose not to act on immediately. This tricks your brain. You're not deleting the idea, which feels bad. You're saving it for the future, which feels responsible. You can even schedule a quarterly review of the not now list to see if any should be activated for the next quarter. You'll find most lose their luster and some will still shine. Those are the ones perhaps worth doing. By deferring shiny objects instead of grabbing them immediately, you protect your inner focus and still honor your creativity. Next, focus on your core competency. This is your core focus. Business coach Jim Collins talks about the hedgehog concept. Find what you can be best in the world at, that's your unique strength, and devote yourself to that. The EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System, calls it your core focus, your purpose, your cause, your passion, your niche. The idea is to know your lane and stick to it. As an entrepreneur, it's tempting to branch out into every area you think you can make money. But the jacks of all trades often become master of none. Look at great companies. They often win by focusing on the clear niche before expanding. Amazon did books first. Facebook did colleges first. If you're spreading yourself across 5 different business models or target audience at once, you're likely diffusing your impact. Pick a lane, get traction, then expand deliberately. This focus will also make day-to-day decisions much easier because they either fit into your core focus or they don't. Next, manage information overload. Entrepreneurs need to learn a lot and stay on top of industry trends, but this can turn into consuming content all day and never executing. Be careful of drowning in podcasts, books, courses, and advice from every direction. Schedule specific times for learning and limit the sources to a few trusted ones. Like this channel. Just-in-time learning is key. Learn what you need for the task at hand. For example, if you're not fundraising yet, do you need to watch 10 videos on how to pitch venture capitalists? Probably not yet. Curate your inputs to avoid analysis paralysis and information fatigue. Next, build a support network or team. You might be a solo entrepreneur, but you shouldn't have to be on this journey alone. Having mentors, advisors, or entrepreneur peers to talk to can help you stay accountable and focused. They can call you out, kindly, hopefully, when you seem scattered. If you have a co-founder or team, make focus a part of your culture. Regularly discuss, what are we doing that's off mission, and be willing to pivot back. Sometimes an outside perspective can help you refocus when you're in the weeds. Next, embrace processes as you grow. Early on, you're improvising a lot, but as your business grows, chaotic focus doesn't scale. Start documenting simple processes for routine things. This reduces mental load and errors. It could be as basic as a checklist for publishing a blog article or a standard way that you handle customer support. Systems free your brain from rethinking steps so you can use that juice for creative and strategic focus instead. Finally, recognize that focus doesn't mean rigidity or lack of innovation. It means channeling your creativity in a directed way. Think of it like a laser. It's just focused light and is powerful enough to cut steel versus a light bulb which casts light everywhere but can't cut a thing. Be the laser. You can still brainstorm and iterate, just do that within guardrails that keep you pointed at your ultimate vision. Remember, being an entrepreneur is a marathon, not a sprint. Focus is your force multiplier. So we've covered a lot in this video, from conquering digital distractions, clarifying your purpose, getting your brain into peak state, mastering your dopamine, using tools and systems, overcoming your overwhelm, and all of that to navigate the unique temptations that entrepreneurs face. It might feel a bit overwhelming. I get the irony, but it boils down to this. Focus is the force multiplier that will make everything you do more effective. When you truly focus, you can accomplish in 1 hour what might otherwise take a day. You make better decisions because you're fully present. You find deeper insights because your mind isn't constantly scattered. You finish what you start, and critically, you feel more fulfilled because you're actually making progress on the things that matter most to you instead of spinning your wheels. Imagine two versions of you. One constantly distracted, juggling 5 tasks, checking the phone every 10 minutes, running on 4 hours of sleep, trying to chase 10 goals at once. That version of you is busy but not very productive and likely very stressed out. Now imagine the focused you. You start the day knowing exactly what your top priority is. You shut off distractions and you dive in. You say no to the random time wasters. You take care of your body and your mind so you have energy. You single task and see things through. By the end of the day, you've knocked out important work, you've moved the needle on your business, and you still have time to rest because you weren't busy being busy. Which version of you is going to build the better business in life? Yes, developing this level of focus takes practice and commitment. I might even feel uncomfortable at first. We live in a society that almost fears being alone with our thoughts or just doing one thing. But stick with it. Start with 1 or 2 changes from this video. Maybe tonight you commit to 7 hours sleep, or tomorrow morning you block 2 hours for deep work with no phone. Maybe you uninstall that one app that's your kryptonite. Maybe you finally write down a clear goal for the next month. Each of these actions is you taking back control of your focus. And here's the beautiful part. Focus gets easier the more you do it. It's a virtuous cycle. The more you experience true focused work, the more you'll crave it because of how rewarding it is. You'll start to see results. Maybe a completed project, a surge in productivity, a calmer mind, and that positive outcome will motivate you to focus even more. You'll wonder how you ever tolerated the frantic, fragmented way you used to work. Successful entrepreneurs aren't successful because they never get distracted or they never have any doubts. They're successful because when it counts, they know how to lock in on what matters and tune out the noise. They design their life in a way that supports that focus. You can do the same. You have the power to control where your mind goes, one decision at a time. So the next time you catch yourself drifting or procrastinating or chasing a squirrel, don't beat yourself up. Just gently but firmly steer back. Remember the tools and strategies that we discussed in this video. Protect your attention like the precious resource that it is, because your attention, consistently applied, is the difference between dreams staying dreams and dreams becoming reality. You've got big goals, big visions. The only way to reach them is through sustained focus. Eliminate the distractions, strengthen your purpose, take care of your brain, and build the habits that keep you on track. Do this, and you become unstoppable. So now it's your turn. The world today might be designed to break your focus, but now you are armed to defeat that. Take a stand for your dreams by taking control of your focus. It's not easy, but it's simple. Choose what matters and give it your undivided attention. Keep practicing, keep improving, and you'll be amazed at the momentum that you build. I promise you, everything will change when you master this skill. Your business will grow, your stress will drop, and your confidence will soar because you'll know that you are in charge of your destiny, not your phone, not your inbox, not the 1,000 trivial things trying to steal your time. Stay focused, you can do this, and as always, believe. To learn how to avoid procrastination forever, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. You know you're procrastinating, and you know that it's hurting you. Maybe you tell yourself, I'll do it later, or you scroll through your phone or binge another episode. Hours turn into days, and that project, that goal, that dream, it's still sitting there waiting.